Hey, you, hope you're well. I'm Nikki DeForest. Welcome to episode 3 of Awakening Stories. In this series, I share stories and things that I've learned from my awakening to, help and assist anyone else with their awakening. And of course, may this always be of service. So let's get started. There was a turning point in my life that looking back now, I realize was a big turning point in my awakening journey. It was when I got realized that I didn't like my life that I was living, and I was sick of of my career, of what I was doing, of how I was living, and all the excuses that I used to keep me trapped in that life. So was it ego death, or was I just sick of all my own BS? This time on Exploring Spirituality. So the short answer is yes. It was both an ego death and being tired of my own BS. So the definition of ego death is to lose our sense of identity. So it's really about, or let me say this, how it played out for me is that I started waking up to the fact that the life that I had built, the career that I had built, the career that I had spent more than 20 years building, no longer worked for me. It was no longer who I wanted to be or what I wanted to be doing. It was an identity that I needed to shed, kind of like a snake shedding their skin. It's a turning point, the beginning of a transformation or the middle of a transformation. And that's why, by the way, that's why snakes are symbolic of transformation because they shed their skin like shedding an identity. So, why is ego death important? It is changing ourselves. It is the beginning of being able to imagine a new way of life for ourselves outside of the life that we have already built, outside of our mindset at this current time. So it's almost like swapping mindsets. It's almost like going from a fixed mindset, this is what my life is, this is how it is, then to be like entering into a new mindset of almost anything is possible. Anything is possible. A new life is possible for me. A new way of being is possible. And that's why it's so important. It's a it's a shift in how we see ourselves in our identity. So what got me to the point of ego death or wanting to shed that old identity so badly? I had worked in that career. I had built my career from the ground up. I started at the very lowest levels as an accounting clerk. And then, over the course of decades, more than 2 decades, I worked hard and I built my career and I strategized my career and I grew it and I got promotions and I changed things and tweaked directions and got guidance and education and changed my life and built up this entire career. And then it just didn't work. I would like to say that there was an answer like, oh, I just changed my mind. No, or something happened that made me change my mind. No, it was something that grew over time. And it just kind of came into my awareness that everything I'm doing right now, I don't even want to do anymore. Everything that I'd worked so hard for, those 20 plus years of building that career, just suddenly seemed to be not what I wanted. I would like to say that there was a key or a hint or a clue or a trigger or a turning point, and it wasn't. It was the experience of understanding that my life was no longer working for me. That was the turning point. So it was that point of saying, okay, I'm done with this old identity. Now I know this isn't working for me. I'm aware of it now. So now what do I do moving forward? That was the tricky part for me. I had spent decades building this career and suddenly it didn't work. Because it was focused on career, I reached out and found a career coach to help me through that part where I knew that my past wasn't working for me anymore. It was my past now, but I couldn't quite yet see the future. And that's what the career coach helped me with. She helped me see the future. We worked on, breaking down that fear that was holding me back. And I've got a video for that, which I'll link. I'll link it all over. It's about fear. I actually have a playlist, so maybe I'll link the playlist for fear instead. Anyway, we worked through my fear. We worked through all sorts of expectations, and we actually worked on envisioning what my future could be. It was so challenging. Had been so entrenched in that old career. It was really, really challenging for me to see my way forward. Again, I was in accounting and finance. I worked with numbers, and my future lies in my creativity, which I just couldn't see at that point. When we are sick of our own BS, when we are aware that the life that we have built is no longer working for us, when we just can't move forward the way we were before, that's when we are awakening to our truest potential. That's when we are awakening to a new understanding of who we are and what we want to do with our lives and who we want to be. That's when we are truly awakening. And that's when we can move forward. If you are at this point in your life, keep moving forward. If you need to hire a career coach, do that. If you need to do some training or you feel called to do certain activities or you want to learn more about something or you're drawn in a certain way, listen to your intuition and follow that path. That's your path forward. Your intuition, our intuition never leads us down the wrong path. It always leads us towards what our true self wants, what our inner self, our higher self, what our evolved self wants. Don't give up. Keep going. You are worthy of living a fulfilled life. You are worthy of doing that thing that you want to do, and you are worthy of creating that identity that you really want to be. In each one of my videos, I highlight someone I've worked with or someone who has inspired me greatly. And for this video, I'm highlighting Amy Van Court. Amy Van Court is the career coach that I hired and who really was so pivotal in my awakening and in my career change overall. So if you are going through this process of shedding an old identity and creating a new one, and it is tied to your career, please check her out. I can recommend her without reservations. She truly changed my life and is someone who continues to inspire me. The work that we did was some of the most important work of my life, and I'm forever grateful to Amy, or as I call her, Coach Amy. So I will leave links to her website below and check her out and give her some love if that's what you need at this point in your life. I'm grateful for you for being here, for your precious time and your beautiful energy. And until the next time on Exploring Spirituality, I love you. Be well.